You have a crystal clear vision of the life you want. You plan the project, you map out the steps, and you sit down to work. And then you completely freeze. Your hands hover over the keyboard, you wait, time passes, and tomorrow you repeat the exact same pattern. This recurring paralysis stems from the internal architecture of the human brain. While the shame you feel at night assumes a moral failure or a lack of character, the problem is technical. You are struggling against a biological design feature, not a lack of potential. To your brain, a massive goal represents uncertainty and a high cost of energy. Because your survival circuitry is designed to minimize risk and conserve resources, it interprets the severe effort required for your ambitions as a signal of danger. Your nervous system reacts to a complex project with the same avoidance it uses for a physical threat. To bypass this, we are going to build the frictionless focus system. We will physically engineer your workspace to remove escape routes and implement strict momentum tracking to slip past your survival instincts. Dismantling a survival response requires a structural solution that accounts for how the brain actually functions. Once you recognize procrastination as a biological mechanism working exactly as intended, you can begin the specific steps to neutralize it. Step 1 is to confront the fear directly. Write down your most intimidating goal on a piece of paper. Next to it, define perfectionism for what it actually is: fear that has been relabeled as excellence to make it easier to live with. This flowchart tracks exactly what happens when you attempt that massive project. You focus on the entire scope of the work. The brain instantly registers the sheer size and uncertainty of the task, spiking the threat perception node in red. Because your brain is seeking an exit from this perceived danger, it demands an immediate escape route. It offers you a low-effort alternative. You pick up your phone and scroll for an hour, experiencing a dopamine hit that rapidly decays into a node of guilt. Every day you choose comfort over action, your brain learns that avoiding your goals keeps you safe. Over time, this avoidance becomes the path of least resistance, a default habit that requires more effort to break than to maintain. You cannot break a hardened biological loop by watching another motivational video or hoping you wake up with more energy. The architecture in your head is designed to maintain the loop, and it will win every time unless you alter the physical conditions around you. You have a finite amount of mental energy each day. If you spend it constantly deciding whether or not to check your phone or clean your space, you experience decision fatigue before you even start working. We have to alter your physical environment to dictate your behavior. The first adjustment is the phone quarantine. Take your smartphone, turn off all notifications, and place it in an entirely different room. Make it physically inconvenient to access to kill the default dopamine triggers. The second adjustment is the visual purge. Strip your desk completely bare. Remove the coffee cups, the random mail, and the sticky notes. Leave nothing but the exact tools required for the immediate task in front of you. Now apply that purge to your screen. Close out every background application. Shut down every browser tab that is not strictly essential to the work at hand. The third adjustment is the sacred time block. Establish a specific, untouchable window of time every single day for deep focus. Tell the people around you not to disturb you. Protect this window aggressively. Every single distraction you physically remove is a decision you no longer have to make. That conserved energy routes directly back into your actual goals. Successful people do not possess superhuman willpower. They construct environments where the default, easiest action is the productive action. Now that your environment is secured, we need to bypass the brain's alarm system. Look at your intimidating goal and break it down into 3 microtasks that take less than 15 minutes each. A massive, ambiguous goal represents a high cost of effort and triggers panic in your brain. But by shrinking the scope of the action to a tiny, defined block, you minimize the perceived effort, and the brain's survival instinct remains dormant. If you are writing a book, the task is to write exactly 1 paragraph. If you are starting a business, the task is to make exactly 1 phone call. Here is the rule for this phase: accept that your first attempt will be terrible. Giving yourself permission to produce bad work neutralizes the paralyzing fear of failure. A terrible paragraph can be edited, a blank page cannot. Generating forward motion teaches your brain that the work will not kill you. Consistency is the only metric that matters right now. Quality comes later. To track that consistency, grab a clean sheet of paper and draw a blank 30-day tracking grid. This is where you will log a simple check mark for each daily completion. You are only allowed to track one single micro-habit on this grid. Do not try to overhaul your entire life overnight, because your perfectionism will weaponize that ambition and shut you down again. Progress is not a straight line. You will inevitably skip a day, and when you do, we deploy the self-compassion protocol. The moment you mess up, block the urge to lie in bed hating yourself. Acknowledge the setback, forgive the failure, and immediately execute a tiny 5-minute version of your task to get back on the board. Shame does not make you better. It drives you right back to your avoidance behaviors. Replacing guilt with immediate, scaled-down action breaks the cycle and secures the psychological endurance to stay the course. You have quarantined your phone, purged your workspace, broken your massive goal into microtasks, and built a tracking grid that accounts for failure. But here is the hard truth. When you sit down to execute the system, your brain will still fight you. You will feel severe internal resistance. It will be deeply uncomfortable. Taking action straight through that friction is how you shift the brain's default response. By proving that discomfort is survivable, you weaken the old avoidance habit and build the capacity for sustained focus. Reading articles about productivity and watching videos about motivation feel like progress. They are not. They are just the final, most deceptive forms of avoidance. You already know exactly what you need to do. Close this video right now, walk away, and execute your first microtask. The life you want is built one tiny decision at a time. Go start.